Hey guys, Brandon from HSP Diesel here, and today we wanted to bring you a video of powder coating 101 on how HSP Diesel starts their powder coat process from the very beginning to the very end. So we want to walk you through it all. It starts here with all of the prep material. So after everything gets bent and welded and flanges and whatever the material is or the product is, once it gets finished through prep, it all gets put in these bins right here, and these entire bins get picked up by our crane system behind me and gets put into two separate wash tanks. This tank has our proprietary chemical that we keep at about 140 degrees, and we put the parts, or we lower the parts in there for about 10 to 20 minutes depending what's on the rack. And after that, we remove it, lift it up, put it in our wash tank over here, and do the same process essentially. So 10 to 20 minutes, we remove it, everything gets taken out, we let it all drip dry, and then we take this entire thing over to the next step. All right, so here we are. Next step, all of our parts are out of our rinsing bath, clean, ready to go into the oven. We keep our ovens at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. We're gonna put this entire basket in here. We're gonna let that sit in there for about 20 minutes. What this does is, one, it dries it from all the water that's still on the pipes obviously, but two, it's gonna bring all them impurities from the metal to the surface. So anything that's deep down in there in the base layer, it's gonna bring all them impurities to the surface. So then we can head over to our next step, which is gonna be sandblasting to remove those. All right, here we are. Next step, all the parts are out of the oven. All the parts come over to this rack. This is our sandblasting stations. We got two stations set up here. My man behind me is over here working hard. All of the parts are going to be laid out on these racks. We organize them based on whether it's a bracket, a bridge, a cold side, hot side, whatever it might be. They go on these racks. From here, he's going to grab whatever part he's on. He's going to put it into the sandblaster and start sandblasting. We are doing this because the baking of the metals, like we just talked about, at 400 degrees brings all of those impurities in the metal from the inners to the outers, and we're sandblasting it to get that nice smooth finish, because this is the last step of handling before they go straight to powder coat. And obviously we want as smooth of a pipe as we can before it goes to powder, so we can get the best finish as possible. In here we use a 60 grit aluminum oxide sand that is rough, but not too rough, but enough to make the pipe, again, as smooth as possible for us before we handle it to the next step, which is final powder coat. All right, here we are. Last step before it starts getting sprayed with the powder. So after it comes out of sandblasting, which is right over here, everything goes back on the carts. Carts go over here. Anything that has a threaded hole or a surface that has to be sealed with an O-ring or a mating surface of any kind, the guys are gonna grab off this bench, put over here, use our vinyl tape that we do to seal off any of the mating surfaces. We have plugs to plug all the threaded holes. And once all that's done, it goes back on the racks right here. And the racks are gonna slide into powder coat when they are ready for whatever color they're getting powder coated. All right, here we are, last step. All of our stuff is out of sandblasting. It's all organized on the shelf, clean, ready to rip. What we're gonna do is, the powder coat guys, they're actually off today, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these hooks, we're gonna grab the parts. These guys hook it from different locations. But what we're gonna do is, these metal hooks that go on the metal parts, obviously, we're gonna hang on this metal rope. What this does is ground this part to the booth now, because the boot is secured to the earth. And whether you guys know it or not, powder coat is actually applied through a positive and negative charge. So what this is doing is grounding this part, and the powder that is shot out of the gun actually has a positive charge to it. What does positive and negative do? They attract. So we'll hang this up, guys will shoot it, the powder will stick on there real nice, and we'll head to the next step. All right, here we are. Last steps after everything's been powder coated, stuff shiny, glossy. Those guys are gonna come over here. They're gonna open up the oven. Again, this oven is set at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. They're gonna hang up all these parts in here. Once the parts themselves get to 400 degrees, we're gonna take this temperature gun here. They come over here, they shoot the actual part, and once that part hits 400 degrees, that is when the timer starts. We use prismatic powders for all of our powder that we shoot. And generally, we see about a 15-minute bake time. Again, once that part reaches 400 degrees, then the timer starts. 15 minutes goes up. These guys will come grab all this stuff. They'll come over here. They'll hang everything up on our drying racks that are sitting over here. And the last step's gonna be assembly and boxing it, and any final assembly that we may have. Some parts will get 1/8 inch NPT bungs screwed into it. Some will get nothing. You know, example, our traction bars will get all the ends screwed into them. They will assemble them. Final assembly, they wrap it up nicely with foam, make sure it's all protected, so when the stuff goes in the box, it's all protected, doesn't show up all dinged and banged up. And that's it. So from start to finish, that is the entire process.